Where are you right now? Oh, hello, we're recording. Debbie, where are you? Yeah,
Cleveland.
don't worry, Cleveland, we've got it. We've got Cleveland. And then Michelle, you're in that place that you've never left.
Yeah, in the San Francisco Bay Area in Walnut Creek.
Yeah, in Walnut Creek. Thank you. Thank you. I'm teasing. The girl at Walnut Creek. So now thank you for one, thank you for being here. It's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and it was almost light here before we started, which was incredible. Like there was the beginning of light at 7 o'clock. It just turned dark as we are on the East Coast, but not like that at all, Karen. I'm looking at you very enviously, looking at that beautiful blue sky behind you in LA over there. But anyway, thank you for being here on the time zone you're in after the day you've had and just settle in for a conversation. So now tonight's conversation is great because at the beginning of each month we get to spotlight one of the women in our community and one of the women in our community who's honoring the vision that is there for her to create, and not only to create but to live and be in the experience of her vision. Renee Beth, welcome. You've just joined. Perfect time. Great to see you. Glad you're here. Great. And so I was just highlighting your girl, Miss Dawn. Okay, Renee. So you're just getting the introduction as we're starting here. And so tonight, as I said, at the first Tuesday of every month, we spotlight and honor one of the women in our community because of not only who she is within the community, but what she's creating, what she's seeing for her life, what she's accomplishing, what she's been through. And I know when I say this, especially to the group of women on this call, that Dawn is very much there for everyone. When you have Dawn in your life, you're supported without asking. Everyone know what I'm talking about? You do. And she's a rare breed. And it's so great because I'm not the only one honoring you tonight, Dawn. It's all of us. That's why Rennie Beth wanted to come and join and be part of this call. And Pat's here, and everyone else is here, and the people who are going to be watching the video, they're going to be watching the video. Because tonight, I said to Dawn when we were creating this, I said, just imagine that tonight is like giving you an Oscar, but an Oscar for who you are. And we get to hear about you. We get to hear about what you've been through. We get to hear about what you're creating. And we get to hear, and not only hear, be part of this collective energy and creation with you as you bring forth what's next in your life to create. And not only are we honoring Dawn, everything it took for her to get here, were her partners in what there is to create, not only for Dawn, but for all of us. This is a group of women who are pioneers, creating life in the way that we see to create. So, with that being said, Dawn, this is your night. So, you get to say anything you want, which is awesome. And guess what? There's only one rule about tonight's talk. Guess what it is?
I'm not sure. What's that?
You have to talk about yourself.
Got that. Makes sense.
Yes. So you have all these women looking at you, and I'm looking at the screen who just love you.
Mm.
And just happy to hear you share. So imagine none of us know you, we've never met you, and we literally come down to this planet with this planet behind you, and we land here, and we're on this call with Dawn. Dawn, share with us. Tell us about you and what's there for you to share so we get connected first on a human level. Who are you, Dawn?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. And thank you everybody for being here. It's really an honor. And it takes something. I can feel my face getting red, to actually have it be um be about you. I could talk in public, no problem, but have it be about you is a different conversation. So I have been born and raised, live on Long Island, and I'm an only child. And the month of March is a very special time for me. And it would be remiss if I didn't start right in, why is March special, right? And this is all divinely led. Like there was no plan for like March would be the month. And only in creating with Joe today did I realize like, wow, like the ability I get to honor inside March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And I'm a colon cancer survivor of 23, 24 years now. I was not diagnosed in March, but the importance of March is that it's colon cancer month. And ironically, my mom succumbed to the disease at 39 years old in March. And my grandmother, who, was her partner in crime and taking care of her daughter through much of her, the illness period of 5 years, also passed a couple of days away from the same anniversary date as my mom's death. So, only in talking to Joe this morning did I realize, wow, it's not just about colon cancer awareness month, which I have done, and Pat, my wife here on the call, has also done. We've done public speaking around colon cancer awareness, something we did pretty actively every year, participating in conventions and things, and they were always in March. And it always had been March is about colon cancer awareness month. Well, when you're living inside an intellectual life and a checking in the box off kind of life, right? Then March was colon cancer awareness month. And, now in having my, heart beginning to open as one of my mentors, Renee Beth, who's here, has created for me, and it just landed like, moving from intellectual to heart opening and moving to soul alignment is really, where I've started to develop myself, looking inside creation and what's right in front of me. And so right in front of me in conversation about this call with Joe was, wow, it's not just colon cancer awareness month that you wear blue in, by the way, which I didn't even think twice about and ended up putting it on because it is blue month. I didn't even think about it. This is just all happening without me having to have any, control or intention about what I'm going to wear. But it's also a month to honor the women, two women that were very strong in my life. And, my mom had a very rough time for herself. It was dually as rough for me. I was a, freshman in high school when she was diagnosed. I was 3 days new in high school, right? Making the varsity sport right out the gate. And she was diagnosed, and then she died 3 months before I graduated. So you can imagine high school was, unique in different way for me. And my grandmother was her rock, and my mother was my grandmother's everything. So I really watched that woman, my grandmother, in hindsight, because as an 18-year-old, I couldn't really see it. In hindsight, I really could see the impact it had on her. And, when I was diagnosed, I got to see my grandfather, who also has colon cancer. I'll say the start of the lineage in the family, but we know it goes back before him, but he's the alive lineage of the family. We have a genetic form in the family. I remember waking up from my first surgery, and there he was pacing, and Pat was on my bedside, and my uncle was on the other side, and my grandfather was pacing, saying, "Not another one, not another one, not another one," because he had already lost his daughter, and he couldn't imagine, what I was up against. And so March is an amazing month. So thank you for letting me, start there. And I've had some amazing opportunities in March, this being another one of them. I rang the NASDAQ bell, with Colon Cancer Awareness Coalition, crazy amounts of things. I used to go around and make sure people had their colonoscopies done. If you didn't, I offered to prep with you, craziness. And now today, that's just like something that exists and something that I deal with. And I'm the pioneer in the family. Again, Joe, divinely led, we created Pioneer, but I am known as the pioneer in the family. I'm the first of the family to get genetic tested and to actually discover the gene in the family. And so that basically created the downstream pathway for every generation after. And, there's 9 of us in the gene with the gene in the family. So It's foundational because while my mom died at 18, I lived then as an adult, growing up, and then at 32, it hit me, right? And I thank God every day, that my wife was by my side. And I got to make a difference in a lot of people's lives in the last 23 years. And if you're out there listening to this, or if you're on this call listening to this, please get your colonoscopy. It is the best diagnostic tool to diagnose the most preventable cancer, but one of the top killers because people do not have compliance with colonoscopies. It's not an old white man's disease. It's a very young person's disease at this point. I did a lot of work on the under 50 coalition to make sure that we could get the age brought down to 45. In New York City at that time, the compliance level was less than 50% of people age appropriate getting tested. So that's my message around March and Colon Cancer Month.
Okay, now
So
before we break
pause.
from there, pause for a second.
Yes.
Okay, because what I love about you is you can go, you can talk, and
Yep.
you've got a lot to say. And what you're going through and what you're sharing, there's a lot in what you're saying. So before we go into what's next, on just like pause, everyone. I've just got some questions, because for you and for anyone else who's watching this, or anyone in that moment, I mean, I think we can all relate when we've been in a situation where we haven't got the news we wanted. Now, it might not be cancer, or it might not be us, but we've been in situations where we're like, oh no, this can't be happening. This can't be real. When you had that situation, not only with your mum, your grandmother, yourself, seeing your granddad just pace, not another one, being such a young woman to see it, go through it and live from it, and now be an advocate for it, Dawn. When you are confronted with a huge well-being issue, one that could cost you your life, how do you stay grounded and connected, and you don't lose yourself at that time? Because there's so many people battling wellness right now, and you're such an advocate that I just want to start to open that up. But for anyone watching or anyone on the call, like, look, we're all dealing with stuff we have done or we could be. So how did you keep yourself and Pat, who's on this call, in a place where you didn't, that's the only way I can put it, you didn't lose yourself to the fear of what it could be?
Yeah, I mean, great question. And, back in 2002, at the time of that diagnosis, I was scared crapless, and I knew my attitude was get it out, right? Like, get it out now. Had a then 12-year-old, had a sit down conversation with him. Mom's doing an estate plan. We don't think something's going to happen, but I would like you to have a say. We were not legally married. Legal marriage was not with among gays was not legal at the time. The family could have swept right in, and Pat could have had a court battle on her hand that she would have lost by the law at the time, could have lost. And so he got to choose, which today is a very moving, pivotal piece for him. And really in that moment, he got to choose, and he chose Pat and his siblings, to stay with Pat's children. And in that moment, Pat really was the rock. I mean, Pat came to the doctor appointment with me, literally printed out at work a ream and a half of paper of literature and of questions and of, she's a nurse as well. So I'm sitting there kind of like, okay, wow, I couldn't have even thought about that. But when is surgery? And it's ironic because I was in the back seat of the car after the doctor's appointment that my mom found out. And they were arguing about get another opinion. Hell no, I'm get it out, get it out. So in hindsight, I could see that how I acted in the moment was just take action and get it out. And that's paved a lot of the intellectual past history for Dawn is fix something by taking action. Don't deal with what that feels like or what that is right now. We don't have time for that. Kick a butt and take a name after kind of,
Right.
approach. And many people know me grounded as in that. As time has evolved, more cancer has arrived, right? I had a, second cancer, not related at all, just 2.5 years ago. And that was very different. There was already that pivot, that heart opening, alignment was beginning because, I had zero say in the progression of how fast that was happening. And it was over the holidays and it was visible on my face and it was scary as hell. And our doctors had me taking pictures morning and night. Okay, I'll be fair, I probably been taking pictures in between. But it was growing by the minute. And so surgery and second opinion was like, how fast can we have surgery? And Pat and I were both very well grounded. We've had a lot of growth and development over the years. And I really think that I grew closer to God. I grew closer in spirit of praying, and I asked for prayer and I asked for support and I created a community in WhatsApp. I still have that community together now. There's like 85 people in that group. Um, really because I wasn't going to be able to talk after. Pat was going to be overwhelmed. So I say that to say there's a huge shift in dynamic from 2002 to 2024 by all means. And um, I've had both sides of the coin. I've had the take action, get it done really quick. And then I've had the spiritual growth and the development and the heart opening of prayer and faith and knowing my time wasn't done here, knowing I have a huge community of people and in the power of numbers, we would get handled whatever needed to get handled. And I had no control over what that was going to look like in that most recent situation.
And I mean, there's many stages, right? So how I'm just going to look at the room just because of who's here. I mean, Pat, obviously, I think Dawn the longest here on the call. But Renee, how long have you and Dawn known each other? Or you can answer Dawn if it's easier.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see. I think I've known Dawn about 3 years, would you
Just
say?
about. Yeah, just
Yeah,
about
three
3.5,
years.
2.5. Yeah, almost
I
three.
would say
Yeah.
3 years in this lifetime.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm just going to go around the room, Renee, just to kind of get a sense of
Okay.
where people are with Dawn. And then Julie, you met Dawn recently in Tirtha. You didn't know Dawn before, right? Okay, so
Correct.
and then Valerie and Liz, I feel like you're the old school original of original. Is that correct?
Maybe. I feel like I think it was 2017. No, 2018. Dawn, when did I meet you?
Yeah,
2018.
December 2018.
December
Yeah.
2018. I actually met Pat before I met Dawn.
That's right.
Yeah. So Dawn, you have a woman who's known you for 3 years in this lifetime.
Yes.
Right? To 2018, to be married for 32 plus years. You just celebrated your 32nd wedding anniversary.
No,
30 years. 30 years.
30 years, thank
no,
you.
it's not even legal. It's 2002 we got married, but we've been together for 33 years.
Okay. All right, well, let's go. You've been together for 33 years. We're going to argue over this. 33 years, okay? But here's the thing that's very evident, Dawn, with you, and you've kind of highlighted it, and I think it's a secret gift of yours that not many of us have, is you have this ability not just to connect with women, but to create community with people, and not only create community with people, but keep it ongoingly through years. The fact that you're like, oh yeah, I've got this WhatsApp or whatever it is from that time with 85 people. So how has the power of community contributed to your own well-being, to you? Not you to the community. How has community contributed to you for you?
Yeah, I mean, if we moved a little advanced from the 2 year ago to the, 6 week ago, the community, just even in this most recent example, a meal train was created, meals were delivered, support is there. I can call any one of the people on this call and say, no matter whether I know you for 5 months or 8 months in Tirtha, or I know you for, 32 years as my wife, but in anywhere in between. And there's always a, yeah, sure. Let me see. Who do I go to? What do I need to do? Let me figure that out. So it's not often that I do that, but there are times that I do, and I'm learning to do that more as my heart is opening and I'm realizing that, well, damn, if the community is that important to me, that means I need to be taken care of first. It's kind of like the old airline thing, right? Got to put on your oxygen mask first. And so I'm practicing to have community support me more, and I do call upon it when I need it in ways that I mentioned before, like people praying, people rallying around, people asking, how are you doing? Cards coming, flowers coming, floss sticks coming, um, in the mail. You know, just great laughter as well as joy and support it really is what has this life exist for me, to be in community.
Yeah. And it's
It
evident.
really is. It really is. It's, I said to somebody today who's on the call, I might be busy, but my life exists for making a difference in the community and being inside community, and sometimes it feels like, am I alone? And then it's like, yeah, you're alone in plain daylight, right? Because it's like there's so many things that I'm creating, from wellness businesses to dinners to, Pat and I have a massive party every summer in the backyard, where we've had anywhere in the upwards of 120 people in that backyard. And it's a standing invite, and it's just an open community event. And it's from all walks of circles on both sides of ours, including family. They tend to not show up too much because I think they know our friends and people are crazy. So yeah, it's just, airline tickets grouping together. Some people on this call have asked me, why do we have to go on the same flight? We have to sit near each other. And I'm like, we don't have to.
Talk.
We don't have to. And you probably will enjoy it. So yeah, so I'm a work in progress around, having community support me. And people have asked me, when are you going to stop and let us do? And I'm like, when is somebody going to step up?
Yes. Well,
There's
well,
a
let's
growth
talk.
in me. There's a
Yeah,
growth in me ready for that.
Well, let's talk about that, because you and I have just recently started creating together, and I've met you as you go into this knee surgery, this knee replacement.
Yeah.
Now, anyone else out there who just had knee replacement compared to Dawn, it's mind-boggling to me that somehow you work more than probably all of us put together coming out of knee surgery. Like, that you have a tenacity to keep moving through and getting things accomplished. I haven't met anyone like it in the way that you are. Like, when you commit to something, Dawn, there's nothing in the way between you and your commitment. Nothing. It's very evident for anyone who's around you. So you went into knee surgery, and Pat, I'm sure there's many stories behind this. Okay, so I'm going to do only a little taste of what I got from this side, but I'm sure you've got a whole world over there. Was your checklist, your prep list, your telling what you want from the surgeon. You're setting up your appointments for when you're coming out. You want to know when you can get your knee bending. You're documenting everything so you can show what patches what water works, what this works. Like, you're going at it, guns a blazing with everything you got, and then some, and then some. And for you to share your story and share who you are, about who you are in relationship to your own well-being, is why I wanted you to have this call with us. Because most of us shy away from going after it the way you go after it. I'm going to avoid my mammogram. I'm not going to go and work on my blood pressure.
Mm,
I'm not going to let people know how I'm feeling. I'm
mm.
going to suffer in silence with these migraine headaches that I get. I'm not going to let anyone know what I'm dealing with.
Not on my watch.
I know. But then you come in like a cowboy off the Wild Wild West. It rolls Dawn. But it's who you are with yourself, Dawn.
Yes.
That's showing us what it looks like to be 1,000% in the game of how well can I be.
Yeah.
Now, has that always been the case, or has it evolved into this new version of you?
It's not always been the case. It has always been the case to check off a box, right? And make sure that I had my 9 or 10 appointments every year scheduled. Check, 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 right? The diligence of prevention. Once you're a cancer survivor and you got a gene that follows you, you don't have to do anything. But I chose to follow the schedule, if you will, because there's literally, they give you genetic testing, counselor gives you a schedule of what you need to do when and what years. So that was always how I handled it. And we keep it moving. And Pat and I love to travel and we go do all of that. And this time it was, and then you heard about the one 2 years ago, that was just completely like left field, different experience. This time, this knee surgery was 10 years waiting to happen. It was literally 10 years, almost to the day. I happened to see a Facebook post of that the doctor 10 years ago told me, here's what I'm going to do and here's what I'm not doing, right? It was kind of funny that showed up right after surgery. So I was bone on bone, as they call it. And, when you have a, worn out knee, I was bone on bone, and I had weight on me and I was young. I was 44 when he said to me, there's nothing left here. You have to go, you have to have a knee replacement. And I said, meh, not before 50, even though you have a 30-year device that puts me at 80, and not until I lose some weight. And so we kind of agreed to disagree on certain parts of it. I said, I'll see you at 50. Well, then along comes an amazing wellness product that I opened my, eyes up to and my body for. And, Renee Beth was an integral piece of that too. And I start using this, biofrequency technology of phototherapy, and voila, I don't have this grinding knee pain for the last 2 years. And I'm like, okay, we can keep going like this. However, my body starts to kind of, misalign itself. My hip is out, my back is out, my neck is out, my left foot is out. It's ongoing. It's just basically stature degrade happening. And so there I was faced with like, okay, I guess I'm going to have this surgery. And it was a hard decision because pain is a driver for care, usually, right? And I didn't have any pain, but I had pain everywhere else, and the knee was still okay. And I was sitting on this, in this seat one day, and I was in so much pain, and we were supposed to go to a conference a week later. And I said to Pat, I don't know if I can go to the conference. And I looked outside, and there was a cardinal. And there was a very divine spiritual intervention that happened in that moment. I heard, the knees in your way 2.0 is coming. And I literally didn't say a word to Pat. I just picked up the phone. I just acknowledged, got it. And I dialed the doctor's number. And they said I could see you tomorrow. And I was shocked. I was like, okay. And it was pretty brutal by then. I went to the conference. I did do a scooter. He looked at me when he saw me, and he looked around the room, and he thought, I go, what are you looking for? He's like, how are you walking? Because my x-rays up on the board. I said, not well. And I got off to the races inside creating team of wellness practitioners. And I created a community for myself of 8 different specialty modalities, all in a wellness alternative, mostly medicine alternative. I wasn't taking drugs, wasn't doing injections, wasn't doing any of that kind of stuff. And I mean, it was every day, every day, every day. There was an appointment, 3 times a week to the physical therapist, 2 times a week to the chiropractor, 1 time a week to the massage therapist, 1 time a week to the craniosacral therapist, resistance bands, the gym, like, it just, getting my body ready. I met with, people who are, experts on the phototherapy patches I was using. What can I do to get my body ready? I got my body ready. And I created an amazing team. And along the way, I had a lot of second thoughts, like maybe because I started to feel really well in what I was doing. The misalignments were starting to feel better. But I didn't know, I didn't see the bent over Dawn, hunched over on a cane. Like I didn't see it. It just became my norm. Today I stand so tall. Like I'm 5'9", 5'8.5", and I didn't have that experience for a really long time. So I created that team and that community, and some of those practitioners are still part of the team post-operatively. And I connected on Facebook groups, and it was a nightmare to connect with some of the Facebook groups. These people are suffering, and I didn't have that experience. I'm grateful for some of the modalities I had. Phototherapy patches have done incredible for my recovery. It's at an expedient, exponential rate. My incision looks like a 2-year-old incision already. The healing, the wound healing. And it was just inside my drive of success and my willingness to go through whatever it was going to take to come on the other side. And I kept saying to everybody, and I just said it yesterday in my post-op appointment, I got big plans. I got big plans for 2.0. And some of them I know, and some of them are going to just find me.
So let's just, before we go to the plans, because we want to go to the plans, all right? So now you can just get not only the extraordinary courage, but the commitment and grit and willingness to do what it takes. And Karen, I know you're right there in this because you broke your hip and everything, and you've had to teach yourself how to walk again. So there's many of us on this call who've had to battle stuff where it's like you and the world, let's go. So it's that kind of relationship. And Dawn, I don't want to step over this. I just want to check in because, that moment when you're sat there and you hear that voice, you look at the cardinal and you hear that voice, okay, it's basically time to do this. And you call and you get the appointment next day. I just want to check in. How many of you actually hear a voice sometimes speak to you? Anyone else? Yeah. So now you do know that's your spirit team.
Mm.
Okay, just checking in. And do you know this because I just learned this last week. So if I'm the last one to know this, you guys have been holding out on me. I didn't know you could talk back and tell them what to do. Ready, Beth? Did you know that already? We've got things to talk about. So anyway, because sometimes I hear a voice like you, Dawn, where it's just like, Joe, what's the plan? What?
Yep.
But I didn't know, Dawn. So I'm just offering out to sometimes we don't listen to ourselves. Sometimes we don't listen to big communications. And sometimes we ignore completely what our friends and family are trying to tell us. And we can get ourselves into situation and rust, especially around our own well-being, because of what it's going to take to get us out of that space and really take care of yourself. But here you are, living proof that you can again and again and again. And here we are meeting as Dawn has been creating since I met you, Dawn 2.0. So who is Dawn 2.0?
Dawn 2.0 is the end goal of a wellness practitioner of some sort who is a personal trainer certified is the intention. A nutritional counselor, whole food plant-based eating has been part of my journey throughout this I'll say 10 years of the bone on bone period in attempt to alter my health and begin the path of the alternative path in my life. So I really want to offer back to the community what I didn't think or find easy to exist for those of us who are of a larger weight. It's not easy to go to the gym. It's not physically easy to go to the gym, let alone mentally easy to go to the gym. You got little tight Nancy with her sports bra with everything all tucked in and looking great. And then, you're in this big old, looks like a, sleep shirt, to hide whatever role you're, crunching against. So that's one of the many things, right? But there's bigger pictures than the actual physical doings of things, right? There's the supporting people in their whole health wellness, and whether it be molecular hydrogen water is now a latest add to my wellness, and whether it be phototherapy patches, there's so many things available that I am patient, but sometimes it's like, wow, dude, we got to get you off all those meds. And, healthcare is evolving. I don't think I said on this call, maybe I did, as a nurse of, 30-year career, mostly an administrative side of health plan implementation of health plan on clinical operations. I know so much about that industry. I'm still working in corporate today. And there's so much I can offer to the community, and I have already begun to offer. And, there's an expansive business model that is to come around how do I choose the right health plan for me? Whether it be I'm 64 and a half and don't know what to do with Medicare, or whether it be, I'm 29 and I'm figuring out a family and I have a $12,000 deductible. When is the right time to get pregnant so that it's tax deductible and I nail the deductible, right? Like, there's so much around strategy in life that people are starting to awaken to, because healthcare, let's face it, 3 decades in health insurance, I have seen the evolution, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. And I've had incredible experiences, right, to implement first time plans with New York State, and stand up things that exist today that has made a huge difference in the community of some people in my life, like keeping their family members home from nursing homes and things of that nature. I've got this knowledge and this experience, and the demand is greater than the need is going to be, and demand is greater than self, right? So I've got to be pretty creative about how I do it at a scalable capacity. While I have an offer of clinical navigation, I've had people ask me, can you support me with, what to ask the doctor for my knee surgery, right? And like, I have a friend who said, like, this is a payable service. Like what you just did, like gave me the list of things to ask. I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to prepare for. So there was so much. And, then there's this wellness and traditional blend of some sort, right? What can that look like from a concierge kind of service? So there's more to come, but 2.0 is really inside of a spiritual and alignment that'll have many things that will result from that. And it will be centered around community. And my son always says to me, he's 35 now, 36, and he's got his own family. And he says, Mom, you got to speak to not only the people your age and above, but you got to speak to my age, because I don't have a clue what to do for my parents, right? And he's playing the role of that he doesn't. He's been the son of 2 nurses, right? He's like, damn, leave me alone with this. But he's talking to, like, you got to talk to us too, because there's a lot of parental kids adult children now staying home, coming back from college, staying home. And Renee loves this intergenerational conversation. And, and then the roles reverse. They're home, and then they end up, building the house, and they stay home, and then the parents need the help, and they're taking care of the parents, and then they don't want them to go to a nursing home, and they don't have a clue what to do in the system, right? So there's so much available, but Dawn in a New Way of 2.0 is going to have the continued alignment of the soul deliver what's next.
Yeah, now if you, one of the, like, you're always evolving, right? So, you know, one of my friends, she's a brandologist, and she just says, Joe, you see that little fingerprint of you? That's your brand. It's you, it's unique to you. You're always creating, you're always evolving. Now, Dawn is not the only woman here with a vision. Each and every one of you have a vision. Each and every one of you is continuously evolving. Now, why Tirtha exists, so you can access ongoingly your creative authority and be in the space that gives power to what you create, but you're the source of what you're creating. And we're here to honor you as you create and allow for what there is to create, be in complete alignment with what you're here to do as a woman, completely connected to your life work, your purpose, your soul led, your divine, however you want to word it. If you're with us, you're exactly where you should be, creating what there is to emerge. So, Dawn, if we took away just for a moment everything that's happened up until now, all the concerns about time and how you're going to do it and how you're going to transition from corporate to this and all that kind of stuff. And there you are, you're a woman on the planet, literally with the planet behind you, okay? You're there with the planet, and there's Dawn with the planet. And you look at that planet, Dawn. What would be your expression for people through wellness? What would you love to create?
I know it's centered around being a servant leader, like I'm clear that fits. And creating healthcare, not sick care. That's what we have right now in this country.
Yeah.
And so it's a multimodality look, and it's individual, and it's customized, and it's concierge, and it's huge piece of it is education. I am so committed that everyone is left empowered so that they can make the right choices for their health. Could be their health plan, could be their doctor, could be their next drug, could be their next surgery, but that there's none of this cognizant dissonance around care that they are receiving today. People often are like, I don't know, is it covered by insurance? I don't know, can I get it from my insurance? And yet, if you ask those same people, do you have glass coverage on your automobile? They know. Do you have flood insurance on your car? They know. There's sort of this glaze, this entitlement in America that goes over on people around, if it's not covered by insurance and I don't know if it is, then I'm not doing it. So I'm committed to people being educated around how to understand the healthcare system and how to actually have it be that you can work yourself through it. Now, that's a huge undertaking, and that'll take some kind of scalability that's greater than just self-speaking, a one-on-one. But that's definitely something that I'm committed to is education.
Okay, so now we're going to go one step further because look, sometimes when we create, we're creating from here to a vision versus speaking a vision to allow a vision to exist to then we create from that vision. So what I can hear and sense that I want you to create this in your own language is I'm looking at that planet. I just can't believe you have a planet behind you. It's so brilliantly done here. I'm looking at that planet and all those people on that planet. And from what you started saying, maybe the vision is each and every person is the source of their own wellness and empowered to take care of themselves in the right way.
Yeah, so, there's something that I always stood for a really long time. And it was, who I am in the world is that everyone around me is left empowered in the birthright of their leadership and in the exercise of the autonomy of their health and their wellness.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think kind of encompasses, the things that I kind of touched on and mentioned as things that I envision being part of that big picture. Um, and I don't know, I'm going to go with what comes along because Tirtha has taught me that I don't need to check a box and that I actually could see the bunnies in the grass. Like I didn't know there was bunnies in the grass, right? Like I didn't know what was in front of me. I was only dealing with inside reaction to what was needed next.
Yes. And now I just want to, you're doing awesome. And for anyone else, this is good because I'm kind of getting it with you, Dawn. We're in this together, right? Because I think it's really important as women who create. Yeah, exactly. Cross-pollination. I'm going there right now, Rennie. So women who create, sometimes when we're asked, well, what's your vision? There's a relationship to it as if I'm the one that has to do it. Versus, can you stand for the emergence of a new vision out of who you're being and what you see and how you create that collectively a new vision emerges in a whole new way.
Yeah.
And not if, because there's no if here, and with that collective power to allow for, look at the room, everyone, are we all aligned that people are the source of their own wellness and take the appropriate action to take care of themselves? And all human beings wake up to that power in themselves? That's all of us can see that for people. So the next step collectively is not thinking it's an I vision. But you're the one speaking it on behalf of all of us right now.
Yeah.
And the more you and I can think from that space, because Dawn, I'm a big space, but you love community.
Yeah.
And the combination of creation, who knows what we could create?
Anything is possible. So there's a whole bunch of C words here, right? The
Yeah.
good C words. Anything is possible inside collaboration, inside connection, inside, being courageous, because I've also had these visions and these dreams, and I also have needed to see the way to do it, right? Opposed to actually being in it. So there's, the C words are endless. Renee and I were playing with C words last week.
She's messaging them to us.
And they mean different things for different organizations, but yeah, so anything is possible in the collective, anything is possible inside collaboration, and it all gets done inside community. I'm very clear on community being the source.
Completely. And it also happens because you're the one saying it will.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to pause there. That was a rich conversation where not only did you meet Dawn, you've heard more about Dawn and what she's been through, but how many of you are now inside the vision with Dawn? Like it moved from Dawn to all of us. Yeah, that was a vision made real. We just made a vision real between us that opened up in the conversation from creating together. So I want to open up the floor in the last minutes we've got here for you to ask Dawn anything. Anything you want. It could be a curiosity question. How did you handle this? Anything you want. And this is, guys, we've just talked for 52 minutes. You can ask one question.
This isn't news. This isn't Channel 7. It is not TV. I am real over here.
Hello. You can ask one question. Otherwise, I'm like, what the heck are you guys talking about? So, and they might not. They might be just be in the space a bit. Okay, so not a problem. Yeah. Okay, we've got Julie and we've got Renee. Yeah, go for it, Julie.
Okay, so Dawn, outstanding. I made sure I didn't miss this, and
Thank you.
I think you said it was going to be an epic conversation, right? And it was, and I thank you because I see some some of my experiences that I've had to that kind of combine some of the things here. And having had my mom just pass less than 2 years ago, I can, and some of what we were dealing with around that, and, it's even, part of the health and well-being is also having some of, your will and trust intact too, right? So that's, and I can just see, wow, this is so needed. And I'm 67, so I have, have had to do all the insurance stuff and, I found a resource that has been tremendous, but it is so needed and wanted, and, I'm also looking for myself as I'm recreating and generating myself at this age, which I didn't see myself being here, but I am. Like what does it look like to have our aging society to be different than what it's always been, right? Because, as opposed to looking at aging as a disease. That was posed to me and I thought, holy, I never ever thought about it like that, right? So it's just a really rich conversation. So thank you.
Thank you.
And vision, and not just, all of that. So thanks.
Yeah.
So not a question, just, conversation. So thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Thanks for being here. And thanks for that.
But hold on, Miss Julie. I'm not going to step over that.
Ma'am. I should have known. Now you know why I don't want to say anything.
Because I just heard something that really mattered to you, which is really reinventing this conversation around aging.
Yes, that is yes, that's because I have some things lined up that are supporting that and they keep, like showing up. And so I'm off to Charleston in May for I guess it's not a retreat, it's like a workshop. With a gentleman, his name is Mark Nepo, and
I
he
love
says,
Mark Nepo.
see, so there you go. So he's in Charleston, and Mark, so Joe, Mark, and I, and everyone are going to that together because that might be something he and I together, our purpose going forward.
Wow.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah. So that's. But and the premise is it's the book that he's just written, the 5th season, and it's on it's like we've acquired all this wisdom and now we don't really have things that are keeping us stuck anymore. We've let go of a lot of things, right? Well, some of us anyway. So and that's when our creativity can be at its ultimate level. And so what would it look like, going out and letting people have a new conversation about, aging.
Okay.
So.
All right, the beginning of
there we go.
Creation. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. All right. Renee Beth, you had your hand up. Did you still want to say something?
Oh, yes.
Oh, great.
Mark Nepo, I interviewed him on a radio show that I had like 5 or 6 years ago. And he has a book called The Book of Awakening. And every day there's a writing that I read that every day for years. And he's a cancer survivor. So it's quite amazing, his journey. But anyway, I just want to say, Joe, that was amazing holding the space and the unfoldment of Dawn. And I'm really proud of you, Dawn, for taking it on in a way of going back to that younger self who was, lost her mom at such an early age. And then you are kind of on your own trying to figure things out. And one of the things I just want to say is I think from a systems perspective, if we really look at the systems that you've been a part of, and you step back and look at that bigger picture and go, what if I was a catalytic shifting change agent to bring systems together in a way that could catapult, that's another C word, catalyst, catapult, change into something quite amazing, because that's where we're going right now. Systems are dissipating, but it's not all systems are bad. There's some good things, you know, and what does technology have to do with it? So that's my question to you, and let's address it. I don't think we have enough time right now, but put it on your list.
Yeah. That's a great point, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's all this fear and concern about AI. And, you know, I work in a very large IT firm worldwide, and they have a healthcare sector. Of course, that's the one I'm in, but I'm challenged every day with the question of, can AI do this? And can we reduce headcount by X and Y and A and B? And my answer is no, we're not ready for that. AI is not as dimensional as it needs to be for actually the clinical systems yet. And it does have a place in some points, but we're not ready for the clinical consequential decision-making process in the healthcare industry yet. But yes, I love the catapult.
Right. Here's a thought, though. You could co-create AI to be the agent that needs to be the catalytic change agent. Someone, I mean, the reality is the merging of the relationship with consciousness being the lead on that. So, you know, I have a course called The Soul of Technology. So
love that.
Love to brainstorm with you about that, what that could look like.
Yes. Love to do
Beautiful.
that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being here as
You're
well.
welcome. You're welcome.
Cool.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
We have 1 minute. So in the last minute, as we start to wrap up here, Dawn. Now, as with the first Tuesday, so of the first Tuesday, we make a vision break reel. You meet the women that we're spotlighting each month in Tirtha, which this month is Dawn. And then Dawn is going to lead the 21-day challenge in Tirtha. And the theme for this month is existing miracles, not new ones, not ones you can't find, not old ones that are right there in front of you, aka bunny rabbits, that are right there that you're not seeing as you start to transition out of the winter months into the beginning of the spring season, when you kind of like start to perk up at the daylight again. And you're like, oh, what shall I create? Well, we're not fully there yet. We're getting there. So in that space, that in-between space, let's actually get present to the existing miracles already here. So Dawn, you're going to lead that 21-day challenge. So for those of you who are in Tirtha, join Dawn on Thursday. She's going to start creating that. Please join in. If you don't, I don't know, I'm just looking. If you're not in Tirtha and you want to come and explore with us for a month, we have a 1-month explorer option right now. So you can just go experiencetirtha.com and just come play with us a month, see if this is a fit or if it's not a fit. And if you have any questions, me and Michelle will stay on a little bit, but that's a wrap. And Dawn, thank you, more importantly, for being you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Love you all.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone. Michelle and I will just hold tight for anyone who has any questions. Otherwise, nice to see everyone. Thanks for being here. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got
Night,
it.
night.
Dawn, if you want to hang out with